And what's up, hockey fans, and welcome to episode number 73 of Martys Illegal Stick Hockey Podcast. I know it's been that long. Recording here on April, was it 21st, 2022? I had to think for a second. I was like all screwed up. I was like, wow, it really is. Well, you know why? Because we just got a foot of snow. Yeah, I'm all thrown off. I think it's like February now or something, you know?
It felt like it.
Yeah, exactly. So, oh, boy. So anyways, we have got a family flavor to this show. As a matter of fact, I think our guest is trying to log in right now. So anyways, before I bring our guest in and before I bring the returner in, first of all, of course, my trusty sidekick, as always, Dave the Save Warner. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Good. How'd the snow treat you?
I didn't even touch it. I was like, it's got to be warm enough. This stuff is going to melt, or I'm just going to drive over it wherever it lives.
An extremely smart decision, my friend.
It was.
Exactly.
I saw one lady out there. Oh, it was all flush. And I thought, you poor woman, what is wrong with you? You know,
you and 14 people. I heard that. Said the same thing.
And that voice should sound familiar to longtime listeners of Martys Illegal Stick Hockey Podcast because he's been missing in action for a little while. That shuffleboard table.
Yeah.
Drew him in. It's you know what? I don't blame him. That's a really hard draw.
I'm not going there.
Yeah. I love you too, you.
But anyway, he's back. He's back with us tonight. He is the one. He is the only. My dad. The Gumper, Leo Kinville. How are you?
Oh, fantastic, Scott. And last night we split. So, but I couldn't, when you called me and told me that my man, the Drew, is going to be here tonight. You says, come on down. Absolutely. How you doing, my man? Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Good to see you.
You know, that's before we bring him in, though, I just want to ask you real quick. Now, do you guys play teams or are you individual?
Individual.
Oh, all right. Because I thought maybe you were on a team and you'd have like a really cool name picked out.
Oh, no. Because he's a Capital fan. I'm a Ranger fan.
No. Let's talk about your shuffleboard.
Oh, shuffleboard. Nah. It's draw. You draw cards.
It's not like Gumper's Quates or anything?
No.
Okay.
I threw some Gumpers last night.
When he said split, all I could think of was old men and splitting their pants and then going, what the hell?
Yeah. That's a visual that I'll never be able to forget now. Thanks, Dave.
Make fun, because it has happened before. Go ahead.
So I'm going to bring our guest in. Our guest is coming to us from Maryland tonight. He is a former resident of the Mohawk Valley who lives now, of course, in Maryland. He is a Washington Capitals super fan, and he has got one heck of a story to tell us. Oh, and by the way, he's also my cousin and Gumper's nephew, Mr. Andrew Drew Bray. Andy, how are you?
Good. Hello. Greetings, Martys Illegal Stick from Annapolis, Maryland.
How you doing, my friend?
Good. So interesting story about growing up in the Mohawk Valley and why I'm a Capitals fan now. Because I think that the Mohawk Valley is either the epicenter of the NHL universe or it is the black hole of the NHL universe. Because within like 4.5, 5 hours, we have 7 pro teams, right? You got Sabres, Leafs, Habs, Bees, and then the New York area metro teams. And I think
really Philly too.
You couldn't just go to an NHL game on a Tuesday night. It's too far, right? And then we had my father, who was a Bruins fan, Leo, the Rangers fan, and my great-grandmother was a Habs fan. So I think growing up, I was just a huge fan of hockey generally. And we always had minor hockey, right? We had the original Clinton Comets. We had the Utica Mohawks.
Absolutely.
Powers. Yeah. So we were able to go to a lot of decent semi-pro hockey, right? But I never really had that hardcore pro team. And it wasn't until I moved to Northern Virginia in 95 that all of a sudden the big show was accessible. Like you could go to these games, especially then because the Caps were awful. It was before Ovechkin.
They still are. I'm sorry. Sorry.
So, here we go already.
Yeah.
Drop the gloves.
That's how you just kind of start that, right? Is that you just start going to games and they're always in the local media. And it was easy to grow into that, especially as once they got Ovechkin and changed the colors back.
Sure.
And, leading all the way up to the cup. Like I've been fortunate to have some really, really cool Caps experiences since I've been here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But, like you said, 95. So they weren't that terrible for that much longer after that, though, because they were in the Cup final in 98.
Yeah, and that was one of the but you remember
thanks to only the goalie.
They got murdered by the Wings.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I think any team that went up against the Wings that year was going to get destroyed. So
it was not good. But then they had a decline. They talked about maybe moving the team for a while because there was, there's no attendance. And next thing you know, they're drafting Alex Ovechkin, and being part of that rise out of the horrible years all the way up to the Cup run was just like, it was really cool to be a part of that and a witness to it. Our season tickets were 7 rows off the ice right behind the net where the Caps shoot twice. It was great.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Now, were they still playing at the Cap Center when you started with the season ticket?
There they were, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been a Caps fan for 17 years.
Yeah.
Since 1995.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Wow.
I mean, as soon as you get, it's great that you're a Rangers. Cause I'm not even going to mention Scotty's King fandom.
You're a good man. You're a good man.
I don't want to hear it out of either one of you two. I've got more cups in the past 20 years.
But Scott, you'll travel to Buffalo when the Kings come
every year.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's not an easy drive,
No, it's not. But I'll tell you that Buffalo, the arena is beautiful.
Really?
It really is. And what a setup they got out there. That's why I still hope, and I don't want to get sidetracked with the Sabres too much, but I really hope that they are truly turning it around because that market deserves a good team.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Why do you not want to get sidetracked? Why is
because I don't want you to start dropping heavy Sabre knowledge on us, okay?
All right, yeah, like that would happen.
But I mean, really, I would actually love to go to MSG, but to go to MSG, you got to take out a second mortgage at this point.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'd like to go to that new Islanders building. I've heard that's phenomenal.
The UBS or UBS Arena. Yeah.
Last year I went to MSG for free, but I don't want to say anything.
Did they win?
Yes, it did.
You sure?
No. I can't remember. That was last year. Are you kidding me?
That's right.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
Yeah, the beer was free, so you're not going to remember that.
That's right.
What was last week?
But let me ask you this, since we're on the topic of the Caps. All-time favorites. Who you got? I'm sure Ovechkin's on that list.
Yeah, for sure. Since Oshie's been with the team, I really appreciate his work ethic a lot. And he's really great to watch live because obviously when you see him and film the game, they're following the puck. But if you watch him live, like the way that he skates behind the play, how hard he goes, he finishes every check. I really admire that tremendous amount. Definitely Alex Ovechkin. And to go back a ways, Ole Kolzig was always a favorite. One time I had the pleasure and honor of playing a round of golf with him, and
really,
it was phenomenal. Yeah, I got a signed stick over here.
How'd that come about?
It was a charity auction.
Okay.
And the Capitals were terrible then, so they weren't having a whole lot of people showing up to these charity auctions. So
talk about getting it on the ground floor, huh?
Yeah,
that's really cool.
And now I get bummed because when they have those charity auctions now, you can't even get a ticket to get in the door. There's so many people that want to go.
Sure.
And that was a great experience. We went to Ole's Country Club. They had caddies. It was crazy.
Was it like Caddyshack?
Yeah. Well, except the caddy goes, well, just hit it there. I'm like, I know where to hit it. I just can't.
I just don't know how to.
Can I pick it up and throw it there?
No, yeah, you just want to be just to the right of the tree. And I'm like, yeah, right.
He didn't specify which tree, so no. Oh boy! So you said you were a season ticket holder pretty much right from the get go.
Yeah, we were for about 11 years, and that was only in the new building though. We didn't get them in the old.
Sure. So how much further? And just so because I've always been kind of curious. Is the new building a lot further away from where the Cap Center was, or is it in that same general area?
So the Capital One Center is actually right in downtown Washington.
Okay.
Which makes it so much more convenient because then you don't have to go around the Beltway to the other side.
Oh, okay.
Where Capital One Center is near where the Commanders play.
That's right. You threw me off for a second. I was like, wait a second. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting older. I forget these things, So recent days, you had an article written about you for NHL.com, and and obviously we're so glad that everything turned out good, that you beat the cancer.
Yeah, it was.
Take us into that.
Really surprising. Male breast cancer is only about 1% of all cancers diagnosed, so it's really rare. And luckily I caught it. I would have caught it even earlier if it weren't for the pandemic, because I would have gone for my regular physical instead of waiting until, we were all vaccinated and everything. And when I was diagnosed, it hits you pretty hard. You know what I mean? You're like, all right, what are the next steps? And throughout that battle, you had to do surgery and then ultimately 4 rounds of chemotherapy, which I just finished up on March 31st. So I'm very excited about that.
Excellent.
And just before I started the chemo, Kinley had bought, the Caps did another charity fundraiser, Caps on Cameo, where they call and give you a little message or whatever. And I don't think that when you're a 35-year-old hockey player that you think you're going to have to say some kind of inspirational thing to somebody who has cancer. Like, I just don't think that's where their head's at. It's right. Like, happy birthday, Merry Christmas, whatever. And it was really, really nice. And then later on, once I was cured, Kinley reached out to Caps. Kinley's my wife. And just thanked them. And it was like, you know what? It was a really nice thing. It was a really great greeting. And the Caps invited us to a game.
That's awesome.
So, we show up and the marketing rep meets us right at the door, takes us right down to the glass for warmies. And, my daughter, Katie, she's 10. She made a sign for TJ Oshie. And like about halfway through warmups, this dude comes over and is skating directly across the blue line. And he's pointing at me. And so I point back at him and he goes, I know you. And he flips me a puck.
Awesome. Awesome. That is great.
Yeah, and the Caps were really great. They also gave me this is a team signed jersey.
Wow. That's nice.
I was shocked. They really ruled out the red carpet, and super great experience. Caps won huge, crushed the Flyers that night, 8-2. It's like a party in there.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was a really special experience. And
Drew, I'm glad you didn't say the Rangers.
I kind of wish he did. That would have been fun to watch your face.
Scott, shut up.
Well, I'm thinking of this playoff. I'm thinking of this playoff picture here, and I would like to see. I would like to play the Rangers in the first round.
That's interesting.
I don't want the Panthers, but I think there's going to be a little shuffling around. Right now, the Caps are the 8th seed, but they're within. They have some games in hand on the Pens. So I think that what you're going to see is some shuffling around of those 6, 7, 8 seeds. Yeah, 1s and 2s. And then we got another matchup tonight with the Leafs and the Lightning. That's a potential first-round playoff, and they're playing tonight.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you, Andy, we got the video that TJ sent you. So if you don't mind, we're going to play it right now for everybody who's watching and listening.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a really cool video, so check this out.
Hey, Drew, TJ Oshie here. Just want to reach out and first of all say thank you so much for supporting me and the guys. We really appreciate it. Our fan base in DC and Caps fans everywhere is absolutely unbelievable. More importantly, Kinley's told me about your fight with cancer, and man, I just wish you all the best. Hopefully we can kick the shit out of this thing and send it packing. That's basically it, man. Stay positive, which I'm sure you are, and hope you're getting in some good family time. And yeah, hopefully we can get a couple W's for you here soon, and who knows, maybe down the road the big trophy again. Wish you all the best, man. Keep fighting, and go Caps.
What a class act, really. I mean,
it really was. And, he didn't have to come over, during warm-ups. Like,
no, not at all. But
everybody's screaming for sticks and pucks. And and it was just really nice. It really made me feel special. It was great.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt. And of course, obviously, he's our Olympic hero too. I mean, the guy is just an amazing on the shootouts. Really.
Yeah, he just passed. He's now played more games with the Caps than he played with the Blues. So
that I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
I was wondering. Okay, that makes sense.
Just past that.
And I'll tell you what really speaks volumes is that he must love playing in Washington, because if you recall, for the expansion draft, he's from Washington State.
Yeah. Everyone
and he flat out told the Caps, don't put me, I don't want to go there. I mean, that's amazing to not want to go to your home state that's got a brand new team. No, I want to stay 3,000 miles away from him.
And everyone was talking about him to the Kraken. That was the big rumor then. I was terrified.
Sure. I mean, absolutely.
But then the Caps did that thing where they gave him a goalie and then took him back.
I know.
That's the weirdest thing.
I think it was with that expansion draft. I think every general manager in the league was terrified of being made to look bad like they did with Vegas.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was, to be perfectly honest with you. Everybody was just scared.
But it was weird how, McPhee with Vegas at the time, he was wheeling and dealing well before the expansion draft. He's trading picks. He's, making deals. I won't touch this guy. I won't touch that guy. And the rumor was with the Kraken that they weren't doing that.
No.
And that's kind of why where they are on the standings, I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably a little bit to do with it. Just a little. But, truthfully, too, I mean, just looking back at that, I don't want to say you can't blame the GMs, because I even thought some of those deals were kind of like a panic move type of deal. Yeah. But don't forget, this was the first expansion draft that took place in the salary cap era.
Yeah, that's true.
Because all the expansion before that happened before the cap. So, I think everybody was taking the shit, saying, well, I'm going to, create some cap space for myself. But man, what they gave up.
A salary cap. I mean, the Lightning being 20 mil over last year was a little something.
Yeah. I mean, Vegas this year with the gymnastics. Of course, the Blackhawks were the one that started all that.
Right.
If you recall with Patrick Kane in the 2015 playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I don't even know why the NHL bothers anymore. I really don't at this point.
There's so much parity in the league. I think it would destroy the parity.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have teams that would be just giant spenders, and then you have people like Arizona.
Well, they're only going to be playing in front of 3,000 people starting next year anyway.
I know. I saw the ticket price list today. I didn't know if it was a list of what they're going to pay you to go to the game, or is that what you have to pay?
Jeez, I couldn't believe it when I saw that. Like $14,000 for season tickets or something. Like, are you kidding me? Come on.
And those tickets are all going to go to ticket brokers, right? Because the one thing when Kinley and I we did attend a Caps game when it was jobbing.com arena in Phoenix. And the one thing that you'll notice is that there are 1 billion snowbirds from Canada that go to Arizona.
Oh, sure.
So who sells tickets to that building is whoever's coming to town, right?
Right.
And I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing my team in a 5,400 seat arena.
No,
I mean, I wouldn't want to pay that money. I would but Arizona every night.
But I mean, I know it's a little bit warmer down where you're at, but like up here, let's say middle of February and it's 10 degrees outside. I can imagine wanting to see myself play my team playing in an arena that's, like you said, 5,000 seats. Oh, and it's 80 degrees out too.
Right.
That kind of helped.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so weird because it was so hot out there. Wearing a jersey to the game, it was ridiculous. So did you guys see my boy Ovi had got his 50th last night?
Yeah, he did actually. So you know what? Before we go get into the article for NHL.com, I do want to ask you, because we were talking about this before we went on.
Sure.
Is he going to do it? Is he going to break Gretzky's record?
I think he is.
Think so?
And I think so. And he's had 5 50-goal seasons since Pierre said that he wasn't going to hit 50 ever again in his career.
Wow. That Pierre McGuire.
That's why he's not on TV anymore.
Yeah, I was just going to say, consider the source. It's
No, I think he's going to do it. I mean, I think if he had a really down year this year, that I would be far less confident. I mean, but right now he's 20 away from 800.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I mean, to get 50 goals this season, I'll be honest with you, I thought maybe he would get 30, 35.
That's kind of where I figured he would fall. Yeah, and if he didn't, that's all. That was kind of my Mendoza line for, is he going to do it? And it was right around 35 goals. I'm like, if he comes in with 22, 26 goals, I just don't see him doing it. But the things that he has going for him, though, he's healthy. He's a horse always.
Yeah.
He's playing 80 games a year. Like, he barely takes a day off. And he's not the greatest stick handler. He doesn't have the hardest shot, but he just has this knack for getting the puck in the back of the net. And it comes off. The other day, he shot it off the goalie's back in that Flyers game. He scored from below the goal line. This is ridiculous.
Well, I think he could probably put the puck through literally the goalie on some nights.
Well, I'll tell you that 50th goal last night was a howitzer. He just 101 miles an hour. Yeah, the goalie didn't have a chance. Logan Hawthorne.
No, not at all. I'll tell you though, it's always fun to compare eras, even though I almost think it's impossible at this point.
Really is impossible.
And I will say this era, more so than any other eras, it's impossible to compare players. Because simply my reasoning has always been the equipment is so much better now than it was even 20 years ago. I mean, and that's no joke.
But you have to remember, I mean, Gretzky, goalies weren't even using the butterfly style when Gretzky was playing. They were still stacking pads and doing kick saves and the whole thing. Like, that was just a different time. And the weird part is I wonder how Gretz would do now. You know what I mean? I wonder less how Ovi would have done then, but I still think he would have been a phenomenal goal scorer. And he was as good a passer as he was a goal scorer. And that's not going to change, right?
Yeah. I think Ovechkin would have been okay in Gretzky's era. And I think Gretzky would be okay now still, simply because Gretzky didn't have one physical attribute that he was the best at. Right. His game was his brain.
Yeah.
And I don't care what era you're in. With that kind of anticipation that Gretzky had and that ability to read the game 3-4 plays ahead than everybody else, you can't teach that, and there's no way that you can say, well, he's wearing better skates, that's why he's able to read the game. No, it's not, that's not it. I do, what would be really interesting though, and I would love to see, maybe into like a preseason game, how fun this would be to take a player like Ovechkin and have him use those like heavy Titan sticks that like Gretzky used to use.
Oh my God, yeah.
Or the skates that they used to have, or like what Gumper when you had those Lange, right?
Oh
yeah.
Remember
those?
Yeah.
I was going to bring those up. I was going to bring those Langes up because this is one of the things I remember when Leo got those, and it was the first polycarbonate boot I had ever seen, and it still had the metal blades on the bottom.
Yes. Absolutely.
They're Lang Laser 2s. And I'm the next year, my folks got me the Lang Laser 2 Juniors, and I could not have been happier. I'm like, I have skates like Uncle Leo. That's all
Now, you have to say that because I disagree with you on two things that you talked about a minute ago. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I don't have my nephew mad at me.
Why would you disagree with him on?
Well, because I think Ovechkin will not beat Gretzky.
Really?
And two, I don't think I hate this butterfly goaltending today. I like the old stand-up goalie, what's his name from Montreal, Dryden. I think was the last stand-up goalie going. Yeah. But the thing of it is too, some of these goalies today are so big, they're just amazing. I says, but it's not like us. I was a little squirt, but there was man.
I think of Vasilevsky right now. I mean, the guy takes up half the net. He's giant.
Sure, yeah.
But that's the trend with goaltenders now.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things why I think Ovechkin, Drew is nothing against your team or Ovechkin, because I think he's a hell of a hockey player. But I think sooner or later, the floor is going to fall out from underneath them. I think it's because you got some great hockey players out there. And boy, it's hard to say that, but I think Gretzky's going to keep that record, and that's just my personal opinion. And that's like I can't say it on TV, but
yeah, you can. You can say anything.
But
for so many years, that record looked completely untouchable, and the fact that they're even having this
conversation, sure,
is really interesting to me. I mean. And there's no one close today to Ovechkin. Although man, Matthews is filling it up.
Jeez, I know, right? I know.
I mean, yeah, there's some good goal scorers coming up, these young kids.
I will say,
but this record right here is going to be looked at for a long, long time. People are going to be watching Ovechkin like they watch the soap operas in the afternoon. You know, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, you know, in this era, you don't have the shadows anymore. Remember back in the day, you always the shadow, right? So a guy like Gretzky or Lemieux or Yzerman or Dale Hawerchuk, they had somebody painted to the side of their pants because I mean it was just, they were following them around constantly.
That's the Cito and Orr.
yeah, right. Exactly.
And
but
in a lot of that era, they were playing lane hockey.
Right.
It was the pre-Soviet style where now everybody's crossing the ice. So
Don't
you
like
have
that
less
either.
stay-at-home people. Less stay-at-home D.
No, you're absolutely right. You're right. And you know the thing is, like with Ovechkin, I mean, everybody says that it was if it wasn't for the lockouts, he would have probably broken it sooner. But I kind of have a different view on that because I think I'll tell you what, if Ovechkin doesn't break Gretzky's, he's going to come damn close. I mean,
it's going to be fun.
It's going to be right down to the wire.
Exactly.
But I think actually, and this might not be an overly popular opinion, but I think in a weird kind of way that the lockouts have extended his career because of the physical game that he plays. To have that time off like he did to give his body a chance to recharge and to reset, I think it could have helped him. And it's not the only reason why he's so productive still in this late stage of his career, but I'm sure it helped.
Looking up his contract. I can't remember when his contract is up.
He just signed it, so I think it was 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. 5 years. This is from last week.
The fact that he had his contract right there on the screen,
that's a fan right there.
I'm like, I have his contract right here.
Right. Okay. That's amazing, right? Yeah. So it's supposed to be up in 2026. So he's got a few more years.
Yeah.
And let's, if you start doing the math and anticipate, I think that a lot of people anticipated about 30, 35 goals from him this year.
Sure.
And the fact that he's hit 50 and we still have 5 games to go.
Yeah,
is
exactly
staggering. And if he has that kind of drop off, even if he goes down to 30, 35 goals, he's going to break it.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
By the end of his contract. But like your dad said, I could also see it going the other way and having just the bottom fall out.
You never know, Drew. That's the thing. You never know.
Yep.
It's like my buddy this afternoon, Paulie Tommaso. He's a big Boston Bruins fan. And he says, well, we're all hurt. I said, you're the only team in the NHL that are hurt? I said, we got a lot of guys all over the National Hockey League that are hurt.
Sure.
But, if something ever happened to him, I'm just saying, I'm trying to make it look real.
No, I think the point is especially when players get to that late stage of their career, if they do get hit with an injury or something like that, it obviously takes longer to recover.
Yeah,
which
for sure.
Fortunately, Ovi's been able to avoid that for most of his career, and
he's changed his style quite a bit. He is not quite the physical player he was when he came in the league.
Right.
I mean, you remember you could put highlights reels of just his hits, him destroying people, and he still hits. True. I mean, you see it, but just not as much as not as much as he did when he was a kid. I mean, then that's part of aging too,
Oh, sure.
I can vouch for that. I can vouch for that, buddy. I have a hard time getting out of the chair. What are you kidding me?
I know, right? But Ovechkin's also really benefited from having Nick Backstrom feeding him the puck all these years.
Right.
And having really high octane offenses. Even going back to when they had Alex Semin, and now they have these big train Tom Wilson and John Carlson who fills it up. So I don't feel like he feels a huge scoring burden. I don't think Ovechkin feels that because other guys can score.
Right.
But he loves it so much. Can't stop.
Well, the thing of it is, Andrew, he's good at it.
Yeah. It always amazed me, especially when the Caps are on the power play, just how wide open he is to take those shots. It befuddles the mind.
It does.
Here, as an opposing team, where he's going to be. It's not like he moves around a lot on the power play.
Not at all.
He's like, all right, here's my spot. I actually think he takes his skate and marks an X in that spot. This is where I'm going to stand. Oh, by the way, nobody's going to come within 20 feet of me. So
I don't understand why that is. I mean, I understand that you're down a man.
Yeah.
But this guy's going to score or shoot anyway.
Exactly.
unless you do something.
If you're down 5-on-4, I would just take, say the top corner of the box. You're on Ovechkin. We'll take our chances of 4-on-3.
Exactly.
But the thing of it is
that. I'll go ahead, Leo.
Ovechkin, when he's in that little spot that he's in, he has a precise shot. I mean, he focuses. He's unbelievable how he can shoot that puck where it's got to go. It's just unbelievable. I've seen him put some corner shots in that I would never expected anybody to do, but he does it every time.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, he's not the most graceful player, but he just finds the back of the net. The puck finds him. The one came down yesterday, it literally bounced off the backboards, landed in his feet in the crease. He had to do it, step it in. But it's funny that you mentioned that the Caps power play doesn't really move the puck that much. It's really based on personnel. And after watching that Colorado power play the other night, oh my God, can they sling it around?
Jeez, I know.
That is scary. That team is scary good right now.
That, you know what? Watching the Colorado power play, to me, is probably the closest comparable as far as like the 80s Oilers or the old Soviet teams from the 70s and the 80s, the way they move the puck.
Yeah,
no doubt.
And they're moving guys around constantly, and they're moving the puck behind the net, then step into the post, and then just a quick snap across. And the goalie's hugging the post, the close post. So they got somebody camped on the back post, and that guy they're getting tap-ins.
Right.
It's a really quality motion offense.
Yeah, it is. It truly is. And I'll tell you, you know what? I had to do this because I knew we were going to talk about this, right? So I just got some numbers to compare.
Okay.
Gretzky and Ovechkin, okay? So Alex Ovechkin has played 1,272 games, 780 goals, 630 assists for 1,410 points. He has taken 6,054 shots.
Yeah, he likes to shoot it.
Just a little. He's got 121 game-winning goals, 285 power play goals, and 5 shorthanded goals. I thought he would have had much more power play goals, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I was really surprised when I looked that up. I was like,
and I mean that the power play stuff seems to be one of those things that came. I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't scoring when he was young on the power play, but I think as he's matured and found that OV office and just burying himself on that spot, that he scored more power play goals later in his career when he got the reputation for not moving from that spot.
No. Well, speaking of offices, Gretzky had his office behind the net, so I'll give you his numbers there. So Gretzky in his career played 1,487 games, 894 goals, 1,963 assists, which is absolutely absurd. That's a record that's never going to get touched. Never.
No one's touching that.
So for 2,857 points, which is just unreal.
Yeah.
Here's the surprising part. He only took 5,088 shots in his entire career. 91 game winners, 204 power play goals, and 73 shorthanded goals.
That's because he had all those assists instead of shooting it himself.
He's a very, very smart player. Like Scotty said, his biggest weapon was using his brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't surprise me that he didn't take as many shots because Ovi likes to sling it from anywhere, but Gretz had way more shot selection.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah.
Right. He's like waiting until he knows it's going in the net, and Ovi's just bombing away.
Especially when he was with the Rangers, he played superb.
By the way, Drew, I do want to tell you a little story because you know how I was a big Gretzky fan growing up. So all I heard out of Gumper over here when I was growing up about Gretzky, he doesn't check, he doesn't hit, he doesn't play defense, blah, blah, blah. Then he signs with the Rangers, and then suddenly he was the greatest hockey player ever to skate him.
So I agree.
When we're talking about Gretzky, anything that comes out of his mouth, take with a grain of salt.
Definitely. But the other thing is that Gretzky played a ton on the penalty kill.
Right.
Ovi is never on the kill.
You know what? Glenn Sather started that, honestly. With the 80s Oilers, because it used to be the best defensive players, of course, will go out for the penalty kill. Sather's idea was, well, if I'm going to be shorthanded, I'm going to put my best players out there because it's going to keep the other team off balance.
For sure.
Because there's always that threat. Boy, if we make that errant pass, Gretzky's around or Messier's around or Paul Coffey or something,
Yeah. Yeah. So it puts the other team's power play at a little bit of a disadvantage if you have your top line out there killing people.
Exactly. And by the way, just so we could settle an argument we were talking about earlier, The 73 shorthanded goals are the NHL record, and that was the one you got right a few weeks ago.
Okay, all right.
I've only got one trivia right. One.
Like I said, I'm tied with you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I'm not going to get this one right tonight either. So
I don't even know what it is. So
Drew, before we came on here, we were just talking about how we're going to break this tie in Breakaway Trivia, and they've agreed that some night they're going to drop the gloves on the show, and it's just it's going to be pay-per-view material. So,
oh yeah, and Drew, you remember Scott, my son? He won't be after I get out of this.
Hey, I just wanted to make sure you guys got a good shot of my jersey. This is
oh, nice.
Good man.
Navy hockey
Good
jersey.
man.
yeah,
This
nice.
is this is one of our we sponsor midshipmen at the Naval Academy.
Yes,
and,
yes.
When they get some time. This was one of our former midshipmen that we sponsored. He played on the Navy hockey team.
Outstanding.
That is cool.
Yeah, really cool, right?
That is really cool. Now, what level are they? Are they
They're ACHA.
Okay.
So they're not D1, but I don't know how much you know about ACHA hockey, but it's pretty high level. It's it's the last level that teams will go before they go Division 1.
Okay, so it's like a Division 2.
Yeah, essentially. Okay. And we have one currently there, number 22, Evan Adams. And since moving out to Annapolis and having children, the Capital season tickets had to go away. They're too expensive. It was too far. So Kinley and the kids and I have been Navy season ticket holders now for 7 years now, I guess, since we got our first mid. And it's a small arena, and the
right
kids
there in
have a
Annapolis.
blast, but it's really good hockey. They draw a really big crowd. It's fun and less expensive.
That's really, like I said, I thought they had a team. I just wasn't sure what level they were.
Yeah. The girls team is D1.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they went to nationals this year. They're pretty good.
Did you know the Coast Guard had a team at one point?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
during World War II. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I remember seeing like an old black and white photo.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking the jerseys were super cool.
Yeah. I'm going with Barry Shelley. He says go Air Force, so I'm with Barry.
Let's go Navy.
Oh no.
Well, before we go to commercial break, I just wanted to wrap up with the article for NHL.com.
Yeah.
So the lady who wrote it, is that her last name is Bray as well?
I know, isn't that funny?
I was going to ask her. I'm like, wait a second, do you have a relative I don't know about?
I know, that's what I said. I was like, Brays, and she goes, "Yeah, I'm from Maryland." I was like, "Wow, do you have any family in upstate New York?" No. I guess they came from Florida or something. Her family's originally from. But it was the funniest thing when I got the email and Taryn Bray, and I was like, do I have I mean, my dad has tons of brothers and sisters.
Yeah, you did have a Karen Bray somewhere.
I was going to say, do I have a cousin? Like, I don't even know all my cousin's name on that side. But no, she was incredibly pleasant. And, here's the thing about the article. It really made me feel really good that they wrote it and did the story. But the important part, too, is that you get the word about checking yourself for cancer. It's important. Mm-hmm. And that sort of gives you a platform to do something like that. Sure. Secondly, it was such a well-written article. Like, I love the fact that it was about me, but if it were about somebody else, it was still a really good article. Like, it was really well-written. So I gave her a lot of kudos for just her ability to put the story together and, use the quotes and stuff. It was really nice. It
was really awesome. And just, how cool is that just to be on NHL.com?
Man, it was amazing. And so then after the NHL.com article came out, the local NBC Sports Washington called, and now they're going to do a story on the story.
Nice.
So,
excellent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Excellent.
It's fun, but again, it just gives you the platform to kind of raise awareness of these things. And if people want to donate for cancer research, like, people get moved to do that kind of stuff. So
sure,
it's really nice to have that platform and have it related to my favorite sport too.
Oh, absolutely.
It could have been anything else, and my favorite team. It's dream come true.
Absolutely, it is. It's so cool. It's so.
But
cool.
I wouldn't advise on getting cancer just to.
Well, I can think of better ways.
Not doing that.
Yeah, definitely. That's
if you can avoid that, it's even the jersey's not worth it.
Yeah.
Seen enough of that.
Yeah.
Speaking of jerseys, did you hear that the Screaming Eagle is coming back next season?
Yeah, I did hear that. I'm wondering if they're going to do it, because they're playing in another Stadium Series game in Raleigh next year against the Canes. So I'm almost wondering if they're going to bring that one back. But and I know all your local listeners will know this. Scott and I texted about this yesterday. Those Utica Comet jerseys that have the red writing on them, those are so nice.
The Utica Club team ones.
They're gorgeous.
Gump tried to drink one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried.
You need a big fridge for one of those.
Then the best part about it is I ordered 2 to go.
You should see the look on his face when he got the bill for that one.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why it was a Roaring 20s theme night. Did you go, Scott?
Yeah, I did. It was actually really cool, to be honest. I mean, they had what was it? They had 12 or 13 of the old Model T cars parked across the front there at the Adirondack Bank Center.
That was nice.
Cool.
Yeah, they had like a 20s themed band.
You were supposed to dress up.
I did. There's a picture. There's a picture floating around.
I didn't see a picture of that.
Well, then you know what? You should be paying attention to Facebook.
Yeah.
Who pays attention to Facebook? Come on.
Well, see, now you have an incentive to.
No.
There you go.
He had the hat, and then he had the mustache, and he was driving him crazy.
One of those, the glue.
Oh, you had a handlebar mustache?
Yeah, it was driving me crazy. I had to take it off.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was
You should
terrible.
have dressed up for the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
I should have just for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have locked him out.
Yeah. Oh, boy. But you know what? I would love to see the Caps bring back those old 80s uniforms.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I just love those. I do.
Yeah, the OGs ones. Yeah, and they were in those Screaming Eagles when I first started attending games. They were wearing the white one, and then just before they switched to the red jerseys, they went with that black one that had the Capitol on the front.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So that became their primary home one. But the weird thing about those old jerseys is that, remember it said Capitals in like a weird font underneath the Screaming Eagle?
Yeah.
And like this weird angle?
Yeah.
It was such a weird color of blue.
I like that one that I saw in that video when they gave you the jersey from the
the W one, yeah.
Yeah, that's a sharp looking jersey.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, that was from a Stadium Series game, right?
It closely resembles the Stadium Series one. It's a little bit different, but that was the one that was right here in Annapolis.
Oh,
Right.
that was
That
sharp.
was a short commute to that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, why don't we do this? Okay, I want to go to Breakaway Trivia because I tailored one just for you.
Oh, boy.
Just for you, Drew.
All
So
right.
what we'll do is we'll do Breakaway Trivia. We'll do a quick commercial break, and then we'll talk about the playoffs that are upcoming, and we got some local memories we got to talk about too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right. So
Sounds good.
let's get to that Breakaway Trivia, shall we? Dave's going, So, anyways, Breakaway Trivia. You know what I want to know?
What's
I
up?
want to know who holds the Washington Capitals single season record for points. The answer when we come back.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
You know, Dave, I got to tell you, I got to somehow download that tune because you know what? If I was going to start running again or something like that, that music, you did such a great job. I say this every show. I can't help it.
Almost every show.
Fantastic
I don't
job.
think you said it last week.
I didn't?
No.
Oof.
I was depressed.
Oof.
Hours.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
Yeah, you did.
See those alligator tears he's got?
Yeah, I said, yeah.
God, I'm just coming down.
Somebody get a mop.
Yeah, really.
Okay, so breakaway trivia. I'll give you guys the question one more time.
Okay.
And I already know what Dave's answer is going to be.
Okay.
What I want to know is who holds the Washington Capitals record for most points in one season? Dave, go ahead and say it.
I'm not going to say Gretzky. That's stupid.
Wow, really?
No, I don't want to disappoint you. I have no idea.
Okay, Gumper.
You never know. Gretzky played for so many teams. He might have been on the Caps.
Yeah, I know, right?
I know. I knew he wasn't. No.
I didn't say who did he score the most goals against or the most points against.
That hurts, huh, Drew? I'm going to say Dale Hunter.
Interesting choice. Very interesting.
Okay, I'm going to start by saying who it's not. Okay.
It's
not Alex Ovechkin. It's not Nick.
You're right.
Backstrom. It's not Peter Bondra, who used to fill it up back in the day.
Yeah.
My guess, and this is just a guess, is it Mike Gartner?
Oh, geez, you mentioned that.
Close.
I know it's somebody from that era.
You were on the right track.
Yeah.
But it was Dennis Marouk.
Oh, I knew it with the black mustache.
Yes, the huge puffy
That's
mustache.
kind of cool now. Now that's a cookie duster.
Yeah, no kidding, right? I think he was really trying to compete with Lanny McDonald back then.
There are other names.
Yeah, he had
I saw
136 points in the 1981-82 season. He scored 60 goals that year.
He was contemporaries with Mike Gartner.
Yeah.
And
I like Mike Gardner. He played for the Rangers too.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely. All right, so you guys have got to be happy because your teams are both going into the playoffs.
Mhm.
Mine's just about clinched. But we'll talk about the Eastern Conference since that's right in you guys' wheelhouse. You're right in the same division.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, guys, is it going to be the Caps and the Rangers in the first round?
I don't know.
Right now, it's Penn's Rangers, right?
Yes.
Is the current projected finish. I definitely don't want to play Florida. So I don't, like I said earlier, I don't want to be an 8 seed.
I don't think anybody wants to play them right now.
I think actually the Capitals match up, in my opinion, best against the Hurricanes.
Wow.
I'd like to avoid the Lightning too. The Leafs, I think that series is going to be, if it ends up being Leafs Bolts, I think whatever team wins that series is out the next round. I think that's going to be a brutal series.
That'll be a fun series, though.
Yeah, for sure. But it's going to be tough, and it's going to go 7. You know?
Yeah, I can see that happening.
That's a tough matchup. Even though as a Caps fan, it is my sworn duty to hate the Penguins. Absolutely.
See, we found common ground.
Yes,
there we go.
I agree with you 100%.
There was something very satisfying about when the Caps won the Cup in 2018, going through the Penguins. Like I felt then that they were going to win it because they'd finally shaken that demon of the Pens knocking them out of playoffs so many years in a row.
Sure.
So I don't feel as strongly as intimidated by the Penguins, and the Caps are on a bit of a heater right now. So, like I said, those middle seeds are going to shuffle around, I think, before we get there.
Yeah, I mean it'll be interesting. I mean, I think, and honestly, Drew, I'll tell you, I'm surprised actually the way the Caps have come on at the end of the season. To be perfectly honest with you. The way things were kind of looking in February, I was like, oh boy, it's a good thing that the Eastern Conference right now, you have 8 really good teams and you have 8 that aren't going to make the play this season. Yeah. But I will say, just not to get sidetracked, but I do think starting next season, that Eastern Conference is going to get really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think Buffalo is going to be better. Yeah. I think New Jersey is going to be better. I think Detroit's going to be better. And those teams are all going to have money to spend.
Yeah.
In the offseason. So it's going to get interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be, definitely that year's going to be getting older. And then you have kind of what I would call your legacy teams, like the Caps, they're getting older. The Pens, they're getting older. So you have these teams that are infused with all this youth and skill. And that's how power shifts, you know?
Right.
Teams are up and teams are down. So I think you're going to see some changes like that next year. I bet the playoff picture is going to look different.
I think so. I can't quite see what Josh is saying on the screen.
Oh, Josh? Well, he said Pens. And then he goes, that's because they had all old Pens players.
Where'd you see John?
I love it. John, no, it's on the comments right there.
Oh, on comments. Okay.
On the comments there. We're reading the comments.
Yeah.
Gumper, it's a new technology kind of thing. They can send us messages.
Yeah. Well, on behalf of
what do you think, Gump? I want to hear your opinion on this.
I got to only take care of my nephew here because I'd rather play the Penguins than the Capitals. I think the Penguins, I like you said, I never did like the Penguins. I've always hated the Penguins, and but I think the Capitals are a much better team than the Penguins. So I'd rather get through the first round, getting through Pittsburgh, before I have to take on the Capitals.
I think a lot with the Penguins is going to depend on Tristan Jarry, if he's going to be healthy or not.
Yeah, well, that's the Capitals' problem, right? Is goaltending.
Right.
Once they got their players back, and like Leo, you mentioned earlier about the injury situation that every team goes through it. I mean, the Caps had that really rough spell in February, and they were without Eller, Oshie, Backstrom for a bit. I mean, that's a tough thing to make up for. But when those guys got back, we're like, okay, now we're playing. And Kuznetsov looked amazing last night. Like he's playing playoff hockey against the Avs too, which is good to see because he disappears and goes to lazy time a lot.
Right.
But I think that you're gonna, I don't know, that middle ground of those seedings. Boston's been kind of down a little bit lately. They're not playing their best hockey.
They got injury problems too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paulie.
Yeah, thanks, Paulie. Paulie Tommaso says that. Did you hear me, Paulie? Oh, God.
But I'm telling you, I think with Florida loading up the way they did at the deadline, even though I will say this, I've never been a firm believer in trading off half your prospects at the trade deadline for rentals. I've never been a big believer in that. And you want to know why? And I've said this on the show 1,000 times, and everybody who's been listening is going to go, oh, here he goes again. The trade deadline is so close to the end of the season that if that new player coming in doesn't click with his teammates right off the bat, it almost never works out.
Yeah, in 2016, we brought in Shattenkirk.
That's right. You gave up like a first-round pick and a prospect, right?
Yes, and he was awful.
Yeah,
it didn't click.
You're exactly right. And they gave up a really nice prospect to get this rental. And then, of course, he didn't sign up. The Caps weren't going to pay him.
Right.
Because you're talking about a guy with a big contract number, and you're talking about what you've traded away is an entry-level deal.
Right.
So the money doesn't make sense either.
No, it doesn't. But I will say that with Florida, I think they had enough of a core before they made those trades.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'll tell you something. I think that even if they didn't make any deals at the deadline, I would still say that they'd have to be one of the hands-on favorites in the East.
Oh, for sure. That team is a monster.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
Barkov running that thing. I mean, that team is a monster this year. And it's so weird to say that about the Florida Panthers.
You know what? It is.
Because they've had this ascension from basically an empty building for so many years.
Right.
And all of a sudden now they're world beaters.
Well, and the thing is, too, it's not like this is a brand new thing. I mean, they've actually had a decent team that's been building for the past couple of seasons. Yeah. And that's why I always kind of felt bad for them right until this season. Because even with a decent team, because they've had Barkov for a while, they've had Huberdeau for a while.
Yep.
They could just never get anybody into that building. And I understand that it's Miami and hockey is, on the back burner. But I was really shocked that, and I don't think it's going to happen right away, or if ever at this point. But I was surprised that the Panthers did not end up in Quebec.
Yeah, me too. There was a lot of talk, and didn't they just build a new arena there?
Yeah, it's an 18,000 seat, NHL ready arena that they built. A few state of the art. Yeah, and now they're the Q team's playing there.
But wouldn't it be interesting if Florida did go to Quebec and then Quebec wins the cup that next year? Because
sort of like how the Nordiques went to Colorado.
Exactly, and they won the cup the next year. Little karma coming back around.
I always felt so bad for Quebec. I really did when that happened, because here they suffered through years to build up all those draft picks and all that young talent. And as soon as it all came to fruition, they left town and lifted the cup.
Yeah, that's terrible. I did.
It really
that
is.
was a bad beat for sure.
But is there anybody out of the East that you see that could possibly take the Panthers down?
They'd have to really get on a heater. Honestly, could be who comes out if they end up doing the Lightning Leafs. You know, I said that team was going to lose. However, there's so much talent in that pool. The problem with the Leafs is youth, right? And not a lot of playoff experience.
Mm-hmm.
They don't play a particularly physical brand of hockey, but the Lightning certainly does.
Sure.
You know, and if it does end up being a first round matchup, I think one of those teams could win. But again, if these things shuffle around, I think it's going to depend on matchups. Who I think, like, I don't know. I think if it were Tampa and Carolina, I think that series goes 5, maybe 6, and the Lightning comes out of it. Like that could, a Lightning team like that could beat them. I hate rooting against the Lightning because all they do is win.
Right.
You know?
Right. It's like the New England Patriots used to be.
Yeah.
No matter what.
It used to be.
It used to be is the key word there.
Yeah.
But, you know, I tell you, too, out of the West, I think it's, and obviously being a Kings fan, I want to say, oh, yeah, but I'm a realist. Even if
that's kind of where I am, too. Like,
I'm realistic about it. And I think it's either going to be Calgary or Colorado. And
yeah, I agree.
Just because Calgary, I will tell you that, you know, people sleep on them, but Calgary plays such a strong all-around game. And that's a team that is built for playoff hockey.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, there are teams that are built for the regular season, and then there are teams that are built for the playoffs. I like to call it like the flash and bash, right? Yep. So it's almost like in golf, right? You drive for show and you putt for dough. So I really think that if anybody's going to give Colorado a problem, it's going to be the Flames.
Yeah. And I think that you're exactly right, hitting it on the head. And I think that when the Caps did break through and win the Cup, they changed their style of play from that kind of soft ticky-tacky and played a lot more physical and used the skill. But like I said the other day, that was the first time I had seen a full Avalanche game, and I was, whoa.
Yeah.
But they're not that physical.
No.
You know?
Not at all.
That game the other night was pretty physical. McDermott went at it pretty well with Wilson with some heavy hits. But they're speed demons.
Sure they are.
Which maybe does it work, right? Drive for show, putt for dough. They're fancy.
There it is.
They can really sling it. But playoff games aren't 8-7. You know what I mean?
No.
1-0, 2-3-2.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
exactly.
You gotta be able to play like that.
Although Colorado did themselves a huge favor going to get Josh Manson.
Yeah, for sure.
That gave them a little bit of that grit that they were going to need. But
I mean, getting people to trade deadline is hit or miss, but for them, it's working out, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But wouldn't Colorado, Florida be such a fun final?
It'd be a horse race.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd be flying up and down the ice. Those games might go 8-7.
Yeah, I know, right? Welcome back to the 80s. You know?
Yeah.
That would be awesome, actually, be honest with you. Even though you won't see, because like I said, as soon as the playoffs start, everybody just goes into lockdown mode, and then that's, forget it. You said ticky-tacky, which I love that because it reminds me of Mystery Alaska. I don't know if you remember that scene with Mike Myers in between periods, right? They play this tippy-tappy, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. he was the...
I want to adopt these kids. But it sort of reminds me of when we were growing up. Of course, we grew up in Mohawk, little Mohawk, right in the middle of central New York. We had our own outdoor program for a little while. Yeah. It was started by the man right here, the Gumper. And you participated in that.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. I think at that time, my family was living right there on
across the street,
on Center Street, right across the street from the rink.
Across the street.
You know, they would flood the park. Around those trees, there were 4 trees. There were times when you could skate around the trees. And your dad did a lot of the kind of fundraising that you're doing for the Mohawk Valley Hockey Club now, and raised money and procured equipment. and asked other families and stuff to donate old sticks or whatever they had. And, you know, you couldn't, they didn't let you play hockey on there normally. I don't know, it's insurance reasons or whatever.
If the skating rink was open, you couldn't play hockey. Yeah.
Right. And Leo, I don't even know what year was that? 77 maybe?
Oh, good Lord. I got to go back that
far.
It
was really early 80s. I wasn't old enough to play
it. Yeah, it may have been early 80s, but do you remember how wide the range of kids' ages was?
Yes, it was amazing.
Like I had to be, I was probably 9 or 10.
I got to say,
it was all the way up to like high school kids that had
had
the opportunity to play.
The Bridger kid, all of them, they were there. The best memory I have of that whole thing, though, and I'll never forget this. I don't know if you participated in that, Drew. I think you did, but
yep, I know exactly where you're going.
I come over with a dozen eggs, and I'm going to teach these kids how to shoot a soft pass. 30 seconds later, I had no eggs, and we had egg yolk all over the ice. It was, I'll tell you, that was the stupidest move I ever made in my life.
No, Gumper, you go with hard-boiled on that.
Yeah.
All right, hard-boiled.
So if you ever decided to take the little kids, hard-boiled. I like that. That's what I should have done.
I'll tell you what, though,
did you participate in that?
Yes, it taught me how to have the soft hands that I have today.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. See?
One of the things that they say about really special hockey players is that you cannot throw them a bad pass because they catch everything.
Very true.
Behind them, they catch it.
And that's very important.
All the time.
That is very important, yes.
And I think the expression that I've heard used referring to how pros catch hockey pucks is syrupy pancake.
Okay.
It's like you're throwing them it's like when it's a good player, it's like throwing them a syrupy pancake because it just sticks to their stick.
Well, I wish they would teach that to the Utica Comets. Because boy, they're passing. Their passing's horrible.
There we go.
Yeah. I've tried to teach stick to stick.
Yep.
You know, that's what you want. Because if a guy's skating up the ice and he's moving, you can put that puck right on his stick. He ain't going to break his momentum.
Yeah.
And I see that so much at the odd, and you see it too, Scott. But I get so upset with them for that. But the nights they have that stick-to-stick passing, boy, they look outstanding.
Oh yeah, well, and that's the key right there.
Yeah. But going back to the hockey program, Leo, there was another thing that you did as part of that hockey program. Is all these people from all different ages, like I said, from high school all the way down to like 10 years old. Leo, you got a bus, and we went to a Utica Mohawks game as a team.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that. Yes.
And that was so special. I think I still have a hockey stick pen somewhere that I got at that game.
I forgot about that. Yeah, true. Yeah.
And I think as a kid, for us, like playing in New Hartford or Utica, it just wasn't accessible.
Sure.
No.
You know, in those days, it seemed like the world was bigger. Those places seemed like a million miles away. The programs were really expensive, and the one that your dad put together for free. And we just had a blast playing hockey. And it didn't matter that we weren't in something that we had to shovel off the ice sometimes.
We did that too. Oh yeah, scrape it. Yeah.
But there's nothing like, you know, being part of a hockey team like that at a young age and feeling that team spirit, that you get that camaraderie from going out every Saturday.
Yeah,
and playing with these guys, and then going and doing something like going to a game.
I got to tell you, Drew, you guys were special to me. That really made my
fun, and you were super special to us because you did it. And at that time, I don't even know if Scotty, were you even born then?
I was little. I wasn't old enough to play yet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Your dad made this giant effort for the community. It's selflessly. You know, it's not like, I mean, I think his long-term hope was that you're going to grow up and play in it.
Oh, yeah.
You know how I got to participate in that program, Drew? You want to know how I got?
Yeah.
I got to clean all the helmets afterwards. That's, that was my contribution.
At least it wasn't. At least it wasn't the dirty socks.
Oh, I didn't throw that part in either. So
yeah, but you got to understand, in our house, we would play hockey in the house. Remember?
We had that plastic
puck. Boy, your mother, I swear to God, she was going to kill me. She was going to kill me. And then the one day I took a shot at him, two shots. I got to tell you about two shots. I took a shot at Scott, and he had the chicken pox. and I hit him in the forehead, and he popped one of those pops. Oh, it was a ball. It's not job. God, it was terrible. And then another shot.
You were worried about cuss words, and you're doing this?
I took a shot, and it hit the VCR. The puck went right inside the VCR. I go, how am I going to get that out of there? That's true. That's true. But we did this constantly. And when we lived on 68 or 65, whatever the hell the address was, when we had Carrie was just a baby. We had her playpen because it had a net on it. So we made that a goal. We used weevils, remember?
Yeah.
And I shot the weevil, and it hit our big pitcher. Oh, no. And it went over, swung over here, got one sconce, went over there and got the other. His mother was so mad. She went right down to Wright's. I don't know. It cost me $76 for 2 new sconces. I'll never forget that. I just, this is lovely. Well, keep it up, she says.
Yeah.
I don't remember where you put Carrie.
I think we tied her to a chair. I can't remember.
Tied her to a chair.
Yeah.
There it is.
Father of the year.
Yeah, no. We took a sheet and just tied her into the chair. It should be all right.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. Oh, boy. But yeah, that went for what, 2-3 years, I think it did.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we tried. And then,
but the
seemed
village.
like the summer, the weather got against us terrible.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. We had a couple of really warm years.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the skating rink did come back, it wasn't as big. And then I guess it came back later. After my mom was the village clerk, they did the rink again, but it was like one of those portable rinks.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even. Yeah. You remember they used to bring the giant truck and plow all the snow off, and then the fire department would hose it. But this just was like.
I went to a board meeting and begged for them to sponsor, and I had one guy that bucked us so bad. And I won't mention his name, but he had a bigger mouth than I did, and believe it or not.
I was going to say, wait a minute.
No. But he's the one that, to me, killed that program, and I'll never forget that because I enjoyed them kids so much, and
it
was
really
hoping
wonderful. In such a small town thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's like a Norman Rockwell painting. It's like here's a bunch of kids.
It brought back memories for me, Drew, from when I played in Ilion, in the 60s. So
I love that picture that's always floating around Facebook of the old wooden boards there.
Yeah.
That you guys, and you're taking your team picture, and there you are down on the front corner.
Yeah. Yep.
Was that the 1860s or?
He said, Leo the kid over there.
Yeah. I don't know what he's doing to his phone, if he's going to throw it or what.
No, I'm not going to throw it.
You better duck. Actually, no, just stay right where you are. I don't think his aim's that good anymore.
In Russell Park.
There's the picture he's talking about.
Oh, okay. I see it.
Well, you're right, Andy. I mean, that's cost is everything.
And there's the wooden.
It really is. And
that's the wooden boards he's talking about down there.
That's why we're trying. That's why we're trying to do what we're doing with the hockey club too. That's just to provide some kind of
like when you're selling shirts and stuff. Like, I'm willing to buy them because I know it's going. Like, I know the cause it's going to. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And right. I feel this important connection because of the program that your dad set up to really, financially support you and what you're doing up there as much as I can, because I love what it's for. It's important to me, and it's important for the next generation of kids,
Absolutely.
And there's something about that, Drew, I want to tell you right now. I didn't even know you went through that with the cancer. But if there's anything I can do to help, again, if whatever I can do to help you or the family, please keep me informed, so I will do whatever I got to do.
I definitely will, and I feel extremely fortunate to have such a supportive family, friends, neighbors, coworkers. So many people just offered so much help all the time. I mean, it was incredibly helpful. Like I think that one of the things that people don't realize about, I'm not trying to make this into a cancer podcast.
No, that's good. That's quite all right.
Absolutely.
Look, we know what cancer is all about.
Yeah. One of the things that the battle with cancer is like, it's not just the physical part. Like, your brain changes when somebody tells you that you have cancer. Like,
sure.
Like, it's not a happy feeling. And just that emotional support meant so much, which is why, going back to the original topic, the Oshie cameo, like, that was just nice. Amazing. It just made me feel good. I watched it like 1,000 times,
Absolutely.
And then, having it come full circle and, getting to go to the game. And to be honest, I was kind of hoping he was going to bring me back after the game, give me a stick or something, but I don't want to be greedy. I don't want to be greedy. And the reason I don't want to be greedy is I was shocked about how generous they were anyway.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
So now I got to get this signed jersey framed, and I'm going to get it framed with the puck.
Oh, there you go.
So, that's excellent.
Yeah, that'll look sharp. You got to send me a picture of that when you get it done.
Yeah, for sure. And it has, the date on it and the teams, and it was really nice.
It's unreal.
Absolutely.
It was really. Yeah,
well, I'll tell you. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, we were just talking about the Utica Mohawks. I was going to give you an update on how our Utica Comets are doing.
How are they doing?
Because we finally got that North Division locked down last night.
Finally.
It was starting to get a little hairy there for a little while.
Barry was wanting to know about the rumors about the name change.
Oh, there was a rumor going around that
I saw it too,
that they were going to change the name back to the Utica Devils next season.
Oh, no.
I don't like it.
Of course, and again, rumors. They are what they are, right? And that actually all started earlier in the season when the Comets trademarked the Devil's name.
Yes. Well, that was right in the beginning.
So honestly, I think that's more to do maybe with some throwback nights next year.
Okay.
I truly think that.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't Martin Brodeur back in the building recently?
He was last Wednesday night.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Bobblehead night and everything, right?
Yeah.
He was a bobblehead as far as I'm concerned.
No,
you're just bitter. Stop. You are bitter.
Yeah.
I sold him and his kids sneakers at the sneaker store when I worked there.
You sent that picture.
Yep.
And who would have thunk, right?
I thought that was the coolest thing.
Boys, things that come out in this podcast is unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's unreal. It really is. No, that was a really cool night. He signed the bobblehead box for my daughter.
Oh, sweet!
Because he stuck around. He signed for a lot of people, and it was it was something else. And it was nice because they had like tributes to him throughout the game.
Well, so speaking of the Comets, I read an article recently about, I can't remember, it was a goalie and it was Malcolm Subban, and they got robbed when they were playing for the Comets.
You're thinking of Thatcher Demko.
Yes. Did you hear that story?
So it was Thatcher Demko, and he was roomed up with Jordan Subban.
Jordan
was here in Utica.
Yeah.
Yes. And you know what the amazing part about that is?
What's that?
Is they were able to keep that under wraps.
I know. I can't believe that.
If Demko doesn't talk about that on Spit and Chickless, nobody knows about it.
I know. That was insane.
That's why everybody's like looking at you like, really?
He was on NHL.com tonight. Or NHL.com. On their TV, NHL.
Who?
Demko. He was on there tonight. Earlier, yes. I was watching him. Couldn't hear him. I was at the bar, but I couldn't hear him.
Now we know why.
But, yeah, right. Exactly. But no, it was incredible that they were actually able to keep that quiet.
Yeah,
and that it was just completely. It caught everybody off guard.
Story, like
everybody.
How the whole thing went down. It was just crazy.
But then you think about it, like, that sounds about right.
That sounds about Utica.
Sounds about right.
Oh yeah, different now. Boy, Utica's bad shape right now.
But no, with the Comets, they've been stumbling here a little bit in April.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a lot of combination of that. I mean, they've had players get called up to New Jersey for their look. I mean, we know the Devils aren't going to make the playoffs, but obviously I'm going to tell you something right now. Don't sleep on the Devils farm system. They're loaded.
Really?
They really are. And that's what happens when you're not so good for a few years. You get those high draft picks. And they start coming to fruition, right? But I mean, Zetterlund's been unbelievable with the Devils this year. With the Comets, then you just carry on with the Devils.
Yep.
And it's going to break my daughter's Madison's heart when he goes up to New Jersey full time next year. Sherry, because Maddie is like the Fabian Zetterlund super fan of all time, and she's already like, "Well, Dad, if he goes to New Jersey next year, we're moving to New Jersey, right?" I'm like,
New Jersey, not just your ticket. That's awesome.
It does for her in her world.
Yeah, exactly.
You're moving
through the eyes of a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
I can see him now. He called me, Maddie down there? No, she's in New Jersey.
Yeah.
She ran away from home, took the bus, went to New Jersey.
Yeah. Papa, can I borrow $50?
That's always one of the most difficult things about watching AHL level hockey is the good ones always go up.
I know.
Yeah.
So
I know.
It devastates your team. And you get your favorites and stuff, and then they're gone. But you can follow in the pros. But
Right.
Yeah.
it's also, I mean, I remember.
Watch from home.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when the Devils were there the first time and how many New Jersey Devils fans they made locally
Yes.
that became Devils fans because they'd seen the players come through there.
Exactly. You know what the really cool part was? Seeing a lot of those guys that came through Utica win that Stanley Cup in '95.
Yeah. Yep.
'Cause
that was amazing.
I think that team had 10 former Utica Devils on there.
Yep.
It was just incredible.
And you root for them from afar your whole life. You know what I mean? It's like,
sure.
I just don't hate the Devils as much as I hate other teams.
I'm not too happy with them, I'll tell you. But
But I think that the comments up here are going to turn it around for the simple fact, like I said, you've had Zetterlund up there. Dawes just got sent back today. Greer's back.
Yep.
They're going to have a Hotuk back. They're going to have Ball back by the playoffs. The band is getting back together.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it'll be a good playoff run then.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote about it on MartysLegalStick.com today for the 3 observations from the Cleveland game last night.
Yeah.
That don't worry, the sky is not falling. They're going to be okay.
Yep.
It's like I said, this is like Andy, you hit the nail right on the head. It's life in the AHL.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't get too used to things because at any moment, and even with the team like New Jersey that's out of it, they still need to fuel a team for the rest of the season. It's not like,
sometimes
not only is that, that's every team in the AHL. They're all going through that, not just the Comets. They all are,
Right.
And even teams that aren't in the playoffs, they want to test those guys out against pro competition.
Sure.
You want to see how they're going to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you got to be happy for those guys.
Yeah.
They get their chance to
that was what they got there for.
Go up and play and to make that NHL money.
Yeah.
That's the other thing people forget. When they're up with the NHL, they're on their NHL contract. As opposed to their AHL contract.
Little bump in the paycheck.
So I can imagine those guys come back down after a few weeks up in the NHL. The rest of the team's like, so dinner's on you tonight, right?
Yeah, exactly. 100%. You're doing team dinner.
No, he says, I'll pay the tip.
Yeah. But no, and now the next step is obviously to get the Eastern Conference clinched, which I think they got to win. I think they need 3 more points, I believe it is. And it's screwy with the AHL this year because of that points percentage.
Oh,
you can't just go off. If it was just points, you do, here, no problem. But that points percentage throws everything off because
I hate that with a pack.
Everybody's playing a different amount of games. So, next season, thank goodness, they're going back to a 72-game schedule for everybody.
That's good.
Balance is back out. No more of this points percentage nonsense, and we go back.
Because they got Rochester tomorrow night, then they play Rochester in Rochester next Friday, and then Tuesday, I think, or whatever day it was. So they play Providence again.
Day after they're at Rochester.
Oh, the Saturday? Oh, okay. I thought it was Tuesday.
So this Friday night's home against Rochester. Next Friday night at Rochester, and then the next night at Providence.
Okay.
So, but it's going to be fun. The AHL playoffs are going to be a lot of fun. So, looking very forward to it.
Yeah, there is nothing like being in the building during the playoffs.
No, not at all.
It's a different experience.
It really is.
A step higher.
It is.
Yeah. It really is.
It is. It's awesome. And I mean, it's just so glad to see for like the fans here to be able to get to experience that again. Because I remember when they made that Calder Cup final run in 15, and just how electric that building was every single night. I mean, it was just amazing.
And you love it because the whole community is buzzing about the Comets.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yep.
It's on every news story, in the paper, on TV. Like everybody was so psyched. Now, I know for COVID they were broadcasting games. Are they still doing that locally?
Yeah, home games.
Oh yeah,
home games are broadcast on WPNY.
Oh, cool.
But you can get every game on AHL.
On the AHL.TV, right?
Yeah. Yep. So, but yeah, they're still doing that for home games.
That's cool.
Live as it happens, and it's cool. I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah, my mom will watch a game or two when she doesn't have anything else on.
Exactly. But no, and by the way, so Riley Walsh turned 23 today. Did you know that?
No.
Another one of the young rising stars for the Comets/Devils.
15?
22.
22. Yes, I do like him.
They turned 15. What are you talking about?
No,
his number.
I forgot. He's 22. Yes, I like him. He's
Cut his mic.
Done.
Drew, you want to close your eyes because you're going to see there's going to be blood all over Little Falls here in a minute.
I'm just going to see it splashing out.
I'm telling you.
You guys drop them every time you get to the car out there.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's birthday. Yeah, he was. This kid gives 110%. I'm telling. Every time he steps on that ice, boy, oh boy, he skates, he passes, he sets up, he hits.
Yeah, like I said, that
forechecks, back checks.
Right. Those are the guys I worry about, right? Those are the guys I really like. I mean, it's why I like TJ for the same reason. He's played a full game.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. Yep. And I'll tell you, and that's why I listed New Jersey as one of those teams you really got to start looking out for starting next season.
Because you know who's coming through.
I really believe that they got a lot of talent coming.
Is PK Subban gone next year?
He's gone at the end of this season. His contract's up.
I thought so, yeah.
So now whether they bring him back on a much cheaper contract, I don't know. Of course,
he's not going to make what he's making.
No, he's not going to be getting $9 million a year.
Is he still with Nashville?
No, New Jersey.
PK Subban? Oh,
he's been there.
Yeah.
Okay. I must have skipped that the source page.
During the shuffleboard.
Yeah.
I think didn't he get there just before COVID, I think, right?
Yeah. Yep. Just before.
Because then it's easier to lose guys where they ended up because
right
season and then the
bubble
and all that.
I think at that particular point, New Jersey was basically just trying to get to the cap floor.
Yeah.
And Nashville needed to unload that contract, so they kind of like, well, one hand washes the other here, and yeah.
Yeah, I could see. I could have seen somebody trying to pick him up at the trade deadline, just as an extra body. But he's definitely lost a step.
Yeah. He's not. Let's put it this way: he's not the same player that he was in Montreal.
Yeah. Yep.
Which, I mean, it happens to everybody as they get older throughout their careers. Obviously, the play drops off. Just,
I think it's harder to play defense though. Like,
there's no doubt. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one position that takes I mean, some would say goalies, but I would say a defenseman. That's the one that really takes the toll on your body.
Yeah. I mean, you see those guys when they're retrieving pucks and taking hits, from behind the net or whatever. Like, it's brutal.
Shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blocking shots.
Boy, that's.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's been a great innovation are those skate covers that the defense wear now. Yes. Remember how many broken feet there used to be?
Yes, absolutely.
Like everybody's defenseman had a broken foot at some point.
Absolutely.
And those boot things, you just never hear about anymore.
No. So, I'll tell you though, that Belleville game last week, they had a guy on Belleville. Last name was Bernard Docker. And he, in one power play sequence, the Comets were on the power play, he blocked 3 Alexander Holtz one-timers. Yeah, I'm like, this poor guy. And you could just see
everybody to the bench.
Oh, not again.
But the thing of it is, he got up all 3 times.
He looked like Rocky in Rocky 2 when he just kept getting up off the I almost expected Mickey, down, stay down.
I was shocked he kept getting up.
Tough kid.
He did. You're right. I remember that. Yes. Yeah. Right on our end of the ice, too.
Yeah, no doubt. But and of course, I would be remiss if we I probably should have done this earlier in the show, but we were talking rest in peace, Mike Bossy. Condolences to his family.
Just one of the great ones. And I was having this discussion with another hockey fan. We were talking about those Islander teams, Bob Bourne and Billy Smith and
Bobby Nystrom.
Yeah, and those guys, I mean,
Trottier,
phenomenal. And then to put Bossy on top of that,
yeah.
I mean, Bossy could. You talk about pure goal scorers.
Yeah,
I mean, again,
that's what
not the fastest skater. Yeah,
Drew,
he could fill it up, man.
I think if his back would have held up, and if he could have played 20 years, it might be Mike Bossy's record we're talking about, Ovechkin going after.
Yeah, could be.
He was that good. He really was.
Could be. Yeah, he was. That was really some sad news to get.
Yeah.
You hate to hear. And again, lost his battle with cancer.
Right.
Yeah.
Earlier you catch it,
yes.
the better. Did you guys also realize that one of the Hanson brothers had cancer?
Yes. Steve Carlson.
Steve, and we were diagnosed at almost the same time. And they came out with a cancer fundraiser T-shirt that says, putting on the foil for rare cancers, right? To fight rare cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And I wore that shirt for every one of my chemotherapy treatments.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Yeah, I had a nice little private message conversation with him through Facebook. And I just told him, how inspirational his fight was. And he reached out and came back. He's like, yeah, we got to stick together and fight this stuff. And I guess he's cancer free now too. So
yeah.
That's
wow,
excellent.
nice.
That's really amazing. It's really amazing.
Really is.
I like to call it hockey family.
That's right.
It doesn't matter.
It truly is.
The way people support each other, throughout the sport and the kind of community it is, I think it's different than most sports. You see the way these guys behave off the ice, like they're.
Well, you got a better camaraderie in hockey because they're out there battling every night. They're beating on each other every night.
Yeah.
It's not like baseball. It's not like basketball. I understand there's a contact in a lot of the sports.
Well, lately in baseball, there's a lot of contact.
Well, yeah, but not
You'll
like
tackle that guy coming around third, and
not like hockey.
I know.
So
yeah.
these guys at the end, when the game's over and they shake hands, that's one of the greatest things about hockey to begin with. When they get through in the playoffs, but they don't really they don't. You never hear a story where they hate each other.
Right.
May not like each other.
Right. But on the ice.
On the ice. That's right.
Yep.
That's a story.
Yeah.
But so
there is a camaraderie in hockey. Period.
Yeah. And so in my beer league team that I've played for I don't know, 15 years now, the captain of my team has the no jerk rule, right? It doesn't matter if you can score 100 goals or if you're the greatest goalie in history. If you're not good in the dressing room, he doesn't want you on the team. And I've seen us have good players that were not asked to return because they just weren't good dressing room dudes.
Exactly. That's exactly what you need.
Too intense or keeping your statistics in beer league,
No.
Like a little notepad on the bench.
You got to be
exactly. I got second assist on that.
Be a team player.
And then get all upset at the scorekeeper when he doesn't get his
doesn't get a second assist
in the world.
Yeah, and so and I think that there's a lot of that in hockey generally, whether at any level.
You know what I think? I think too with hockey, and it's at any level, money hasn't infiltrated the game as much. Now, don't get me wrong. There's millionaire players and there's players that are making plenty of money, but the obscene amounts of money, you don't really see it too much. So I think, and by that, what I mean is like your top paid player on a team is much closer to the bottom paid player in hockey than in any other sport.
That's right.
I think there's a lot to that.
That's true.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's
in baseball, you can have a guy making $35 million as your top player, and then the guy on the bottom is at the league minimum, which is like I think $1.5 million or something.
Oh, is it that high now?
Whatever. I mean,
still,
I could survive on $1.5 million.
Yeah, so could I.
Do it. It'd be hard, but I could do it.
Yeah, it'd be really tough. Is that what they're paying the EMTs now?
Oh yeah.
He kept me so broke when I was hell, I had to survive by minimum wage.
But I mean, it's true though. I mean, that's still it helps camaraderie together when there's not that huge of a difference.
Giant disparity. Yeah, for sure.
So and there's that. So, Drew, this has been so much fun.
Oh my God, Scott! I was so excited to do it. I had a blast. I really enjoyed myself.
Thank you so much, Drew. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, good to see you. Thank you. Thanks for having me on. It was a really, really fun thing to do. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
2 of my favorite family members in the entire world. And Dave.
And I got to get down there for a Cascade game sometime.
How come I'm not in?
You must be talking about David. He's talking about David Scott.
He's not talking about you, Gump.
David Scott, hell no.
Well, would you like me to start referring to you as Uncle Dave? Is that would that make you feel better?
Uncle Dave. There you go.
You can do that. I'll be Uncle Dave from now on.
All right.
Uncle Dave the Save. There.
Yeah, Uncle Dave.
These guys over here collecting nicknames.
Yeah.
You're going to be signed up for all the family obligations now.
I know, right?
Oh, hell no.
Welcome, pal.
No.
Christmas, we'll see you.
There might be a few of those.
Yeah.
No.
Your mouth just might have wrote out a check you don't want to cash now.
Well, seriously, Scott, it was just, I really had a blast. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for letting me tell my story. And,
thank you.
Get the word out there. And, we'll see you guys soon.
Absolutely.
Right.
Drew, again, if you need anything, let me know.
I will.
Okay.
And like I said, I got to
Take
get
on
down
that
there for a
shuffleboard.
game sometime. And
Yeah, for sure. Gonna be blast.
or if you ever get back up here for a Comets game, we'll get you up for a Comets game. How's that?
Do you want me to swing around so you can see the Caps Museum?
Sure. Let's see it.
So there's the puck collection.
Wow.
A life-size Alex Ovechkin.
Nice.
My signed goalie stick, and that's an Ole Kolzig down there in the corner with the ticket from his 300th win that he autographed for me.
Wow.
On this side, that's Brooks Light cross-checking Sidney Crosby. That's one of my favorites.
Outstanding. Love that picture.
and then over here we got the Young Guns when they were here. And this is a signed Ovi stick.
Wow.
And this is a piece of the net from Ovechkin's 65th goal the year that he scored 65.
Wow.
Jeez.
So again, we've had some really wonderful Caps memories, and
I guess so.
I'm happy to talk about them and share them. So again, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And well, like I said, you'll have to come back on again sometime too.
Okay, sure. Yeah, let me know. It's fun.
Absolutely. Will do. But thank you for taking the time to come down and talk with us. And
yeah, it was awesome.
Like I said, we'll do this again.
Okay, for sure.
All right, buddy.
Are you letting me out? I don't know how this works.
So if I'm going to close the show out, if you want to hang on, and we'll chat a little bit afterwards. And
sure, yeah, we can do that.
all right, because you know what, it's that time of the night, guys, where we're going to close things out. And just want to let you know, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Of course, always check out MartysLegalStick.com. I like to put up daily articles up there about the Comets and local hockey, what's going on up here in Central New York. Anyways, for Dave the Save Warner, for Leo Gump Kindle, and for Drew Bray, I'm Scott Kindle. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week on Marty's Illegal Stick Hockey Podcast.